Air conditioning on this 560 SL. So this one came in completely flat, dead zero, no real history. Air conditioning has never been done by the shop here. This is one of my favorite shops that I always get some of the best old cars to work on that are all Mercedes. I always enjoy working on his cars because they're usually in excellent condition. So here we go. I'm going to show you. We got 1988. Where's that little 1988? Oh, of course the Apple doesn't want to focus. There we go. 1988. Let you guys see the emission sticker, because I know some of you get these cars and they're missing all the data plates on them, all the stickers. There you go. And so it came in zero, and I'm performing the high pressure nitrogen decay test. So as you can see, right up in there, I have it at 171 PSI, 0.6. It was actually 0.7. Over 5 minutes. We're going into 6 minutes. You can see 5 minutes and 51 seconds, and it's counting down. And after 5 minutes, and it was teetering between 0.7 and 0.1 5 minutes ago, and it just like steadied into the 0.6. I'm not going to worry over that. But it came with 0 PSI in it. Well, this was a non-runner storage car. And what's really common on all these rubber hoses and rubber O-rings and seals, especially the front shaft seals, when somebody stores them for months and years at a time, it loses the entire charge in the system. Now, somebody put a retrofit kit on this, and it was fairly new before it came to the shop. It was worked on, I don't know how many years ago, but it has retrofit fittings on it, and it looked like the original compressor, but they have a new dryer on here, so maybe they had developed a leak at one of the seals or the sight glass or something, but somebody put on a brand new dryer with both switches on here, which is a good thing. When you do these dryers, do the switches at the same time. Don't cheap out and try to reuse them. Just change them. Just a practice. Don't even argue about this or anything. Oh, but it's a few extra dollars. No, just change them. I'm giving you a warning up front, okay? What else? So it was steam cleaned so good that even visually I could not find any traces if there was any oil residue or if there was dye in the system, because it was cleaned. Excellent, real good cleaning job was done on this system. They said it was oily. Let's take a look at the interior. So here's the interior. So we only have 93,000 miles on this vehicle, and has that old Mercedes smell to it. I see dog hairs, but I don't smell dog. And so maybe it's just fur that comes in. No, we got a lot of dog hairs in here, but it's in excellent condition. Look at the headliner. It's beautiful. I wouldn't mind having this car. This is a nice one. Got really lucky here. Oh, that's you for you Mercedes aficionados. You want to see all the data tags so you know exactly what model this is. There you go. And this is the badge right there. And yeah, this all has really nice paint job on it. Yeah, this is a keeper. All right, so now I'm going to go into the vacuum, and there you go. We look at that. We bounce back up to 177.8. We're sitting out here in the sun. 177.7. So, and watch that, 0.1 right there. Okay, so how many minutes are we into this? We're into this 9 minutes now. So high pressure nitrogen decay test. I do the vacuum decay test. I'll have vacuum and then I'll fill it up. Then I'll go around, look for leaks again with refrigerant inside of it. And that's about it. But my story on these, what I usually come across, they sit for months and years at a time. They leak out all the refrigerant just from sitting. You sometimes will not find a leak anywhere. No traces, no dye, no oil residue with dust built up on it or anything like that. it just leaks out through all the holes. When I have my real sensitive leak detector, my refrigerant leak detector, and I let the vehicle sit for a few hours, and I run it for a little bit and then let it set, and I go around with my refrigerant leak detector, I could pick up a little bit of refrigerant, usually from all the rubber hoses, sometimes a little bit, and we're talking the most sensitive setting that is an extremely small leak, and that's immediately after running and then setting for a while. And that is usually how these things go. And then the customer drives it for a few days, and then they park it for a few months, sometimes over, through the summer. They'll park it over the winter. And sometimes the shaft seal, when they leave it sit for many months, will start to leak and it will bleed out the refrigerant. You run it a little bit, charge it up, and it'll work fine again. And no residue. There'll be absolutely no residue. I've done these time and time again, where when they're long sitting vehicles on these old butyl rubber hoses, that's just what happens. And the only thing you can do with these really old ones, if you're really a stickler about really getting rid of all the leaks, is entirely disassembling. Because look you got hoses on here since 1988. You disassemble and you replace all the rubber O-rings, all the rubber hoses. And if you're one of those guys into replacing shaft seals on compressors, put a new modern with the new type shaft seal material made out of the modern synthetic shaft seals that don't get dry like the older ones used to do and start leaking. And you do that and you'll last longer in between recharges, because you'll be using the new hoses that are lined and they don't have a leak rate like these old hoses. All right, so let's get on to the next one. As you can see here, we're into 11 minutes and we're still at 171.7. So nitrogen pressure decay test gets a thumbs up. All right, see you guys. Yeah, that's a nice one. Keeper, like that car.